Hi there, and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth today. I hope you have had a glorious week, that life has been kind as usual. Um, and if not overly kind, at least peaceful for you and not too challenging. This week, I have been continuing to work on the content. I've got a vision in my head of where this is going, but as usual, I like to keep surprises. So today, I'm just going to crack on into it, and we'll find out what's been happening on the channel. And I plan to give you a couple of tips as well, starting with dream interpretation. I was trying to think what might be an interesting topic for people, listeners, viewers of the channel, and what they might be interested in as part of developing their own or expanding their own self-awareness and things like that. And it just sort of came to me when I was sitting here thinking, oh, what should I do? What would people like? And I remembered I had a really interesting dream this week. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the channel, if you're a new subscriber, you're probably not. And if you're new, I should have actually said thank you very much for joining the channel and being with us today. If you're a repeat visitor, thank you for the ongoing support. The repeat visitors anyway, or the returning visitors, they will probably know by now that from a, if you like to call the word psychic perspective, I actually get a lot of my messages historically through my dream state. And the thing with dreams is that they can take different forms. So this is what I was going to discuss with you today, is that when I have my dreams, there's different types of dreams a person can have. Obviously, there's a type that is called a prophetic type dream. These are the ones that I'm talking about that relate to psychic stuff. They're kind of ominous, and they tend to be predictive, or they prepare me for a future event, okay? Sometimes I will have dreams that relate to other people that give me insight into their situations when I've been asked, and other times a dream can just be a reflection of what's going on inside of me, any internal, any internal conflict that I might have, some anxiety or whatever. It can be a reflection of my fears, is where I'm going, my fears and worries. And sometimes, of course, a dream can be quite simply just a dream, a fantasy and a hope for the future. And other times they're just completely confusing and nobody really knows what they mean. And to me, that's a dream is a dream and it's just scattered. So anyway, there is, when it comes to the dreams of prediction and reflection, shall we say, for me, they come with, I'm not going to say exactly what it is because it's each to their own. This is part, I think, of that we have to do to develop our own, what it is for us. But for me, because I have spent time reflecting on it, I'm very aware these days when a dream presents as an omen and a future type prediction, because it has shades and colours and other factors associated with the dream that helps me to understand the nature of a dream. And these type of dreams, whether they're an internal self-reflection or whether they're prophetic type ones, they're the ones that, as you do that, wake up, your eyes open in the morning and you do your stretch, as your body is waking up and your mind is becoming alert, it kind of flashes before my eyes and I remember the dream. So these are the kind of dreams that need to be remembered, shall we say, because they convey a message of some form to us. So when you hear people say, get a dream journal, this is the time you would start writing down your dreams. For some people, in fact, actually for the very important messages, I may actually be woken at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, the idea is that you don't spend time analysing the dream in the first instance. You record the dream, and you record the dream with as much detail as you can. And that includes any noises that you might have heard. If you heard birds chirping, or if you saw bright colours, you would write down what the bright colours are, this kind of thing. And you also write the dream down in the sequence as it occurs. It could be, I found myself in a jungle and I was walking along a path, right? So you would write down what the path looked like. Was it a clear path? Was it full of rocks? Were you having to hack your way through? Just stuff like that. I'll talk about this more in future if people want, if it seems like a topic of interest to people. Anyway, where you go is, once you've written down your story, you then need to go and reflect on the meanings of it, the analysis comes in. Now, what I tend to do, because I'm a little bit lazy sometimes, is I find it easier. I've got a couple of good dream books, and you don't have to go out and buy a dream book if you don't want. You can easily Google online. And this is what I tend to do. I will Google first, because like I say, sometimes I can be a bit lazy, and I will then click on a link, and what I use, the keywords is dream interpretation or dream messages, followed by the word that I'm looking up. So if we were talking about a path, I would put down path. If it's a rocky path, right, I would put down rocky path. I think that one speaks for itself, actually. I don't think you need to be psychic to interpret that one. But either way, I would go and Google it. Now, because so many people have different ways of interpreting, you will click on links. What I expect you will find is you'll click on some links and you'll think that just doesn't feel right, okay? And then you'll click on another one and you'll see another meaning. You think, yeah, that feels right, okay? So the key point here is go with the one that feels right. Now, I also, the way I used to do it when I first started was not with the internet. I actually had a number of different books, and I would ask my guys to direct me to the book, and that worked very well. I would just take the book off the shelf, open it to the page, and get the meaning of it. Now, just a word of caution here too, if you're relying on Google or something like that to find the meaning of your dreams as you analyse them and break them down, is there's going to be times, I would imagine, because it's happened for me too, where you will find a meaning and you will think that feels right, but I don't like the sound of that. And then you will Google another link, because you're human, if you're like me, and you look at it and you think, oh, I like the sound of that one better than the other meaning. I think that's the one that, that's what it means, right? You will try and talk yourself into believing that that's what it means. Well, actually, it's the one that feels right, even if it's not necessarily the outcome you desired. It's the one that feels right that is, I suppose, the most accurate form of interpretation. And if we're talking about predictive, it tends to be the one that is the truthful prediction as well. So I had a lovely dream the other night. I'll leave this with you. I dreamed not of one baby elephant. I dreamed of three very beautiful baby elephants playing. And anyway, so I was happy with the meaning that I found. Another time when I was doing the battle of my life, it was kind of, what do they call it, the Samson versus Goliath. I started dreaming of polar bears. Now, this is not a good omen if you look this up. I started dreaming of polar bears, and as we were going into the court situation, it was a legal battle I had to enter into. It wasn't very nice, actually, but it was symbolic. What I saw was snipers taking out a whole heap of baby polar bears, and the big mama bear, she came out to protect the babies, which all sounds, within the context of this as being dream symbolism, it was actually quite true, but it was still very unjust. Okay, so Big Mama Bear comes out to protect the babies, and she realises that the bullets are flying, so she runs for the hills and leaves the babies to cop it. Well, it was actually a legal battle that I was in, as I say, and so the company I was up against, the Goliath, was the Big Mama Bear, and she actually did escape. But the people that worked for her, that were being manipulated into doing, as far as I'm concerned, unlawful actions, and, I felt sorry for them. It really was accountability and responsibility rolling downhill, and that company managed to escape justice, but the employees didn't. So a little bit unfair, but it was definitely an accurate prediction of the way things transpired. So moving on to something more positive with a bit of luck. I just realised I was waffling too long on the dream stuff, so I'll get into the chitter chatter and be quite quick and just try and push through the rest of it. I was going to talk more about music and mood, and this is because obviously I loaded the video of the Angel of Music, and I did make some recommendations and some suggestions, if I can talk, on that video. So all I wanted to do was follow up with it and just see, have you tried out any of those suggestions? What are your thoughts? Not only that, is there a preferred music that you use for a different type of activity? How about you let us know here on the video, in the comments, And that way other people can get ideas of what they might want to try out as well. So for me, I like to have motivational type music if I've got to do things like housework, as much as I try and be grateful that I've got housework, as you do. Anyway, moving on from that, invitation solidified. Thank you. So what's new this week? Okay, well, we're continuing with the current series that we've got. There's no new series, but we'll just quickly gloss over what we've added this week. So what's new this week? Okay, well, we're continuing with the current series that we've got. There's no new series, but we'll just quickly gloss over what we've added this week. So what's new this week? Okay, well, we're continuing with the current series that we've got. There's no new series, but we'll just quickly... So colour continues to be loaded, and I'm still doing 2 a week for this. And to be honest, it is... I'm getting a bit of a rhythm happening here. There's about 50 of the colours altogether. So it's a matter of working on transcripts as well as the templates. And then the recording, providing all things go well with technology, of course, but we'll talk about that in a little while. So you will, of course, have seen the... we're talking now about the Power, I should have said this, the Power of Colour playlist. On this playlist, you're going to find the shorts and the longer version videos for the colour of emerald, which obviously this is associated with the heart chakra, forgiveness, and also love of others, and to a large extent, overcoming betrayal. However, of course, when we're talking about the really deep betrayal and the trauma that's associated with it, including really deep grief and loss, we're talking about the healing power of this shade of green, which is associated with the higher heart chakra. So this one has also been loaded this week, and you'll be able to access healing tips and strategy on the playlist as well. And don't forget to put your feedback up if you're into it, or if you've got questions, or if you want to know more. This colour was one that I had never been taught about. I learned basically through experience about the power of green and the higher heart chakra. Then much later on, I learned from other people, I guess new teachers. You can only teach stuff that you actually know of, have heard of, or have tested. So down the track, I did meet people after I had found this colour green myself later. So Jade is actually scheduled to be public for you tomorrow, being Monday. It's credited with innovative thinking, and to be honest, I also associate it with prosperity and abundance. In this image, this little plant that I've got, this is just a little tidbit. We call this in Australia the money plant. I'm not sure if it's the same everywhere, and I'm not sure if it has relevance to you where you are, but we definitely associate this plant with prosperity. And a lot of, I guess, the younger generations aren't aware because, you know, we get a bit... Plants can be trendy, shall we say, and we get a bit judgmental. So if you go to the old character homes and that kind of stuff, you will often find hedgerows of this particular plant because it is considered to be a money and prosperity plant. But the younger generation probably think of it as not being particularly pretty. And I think when they think of a money plant, they're thinking about bamboo. Probably remember the potted bamboo. I think that's more aligned to the consciousness of the younger generation, whereas the older generation and myself, when I say older, of course, I might be older, but I'm thinking more like my grandmothers. They associate this particular plant with prosperity. Anyway, I've got the colour video up, or it will be up tomorrow for you. And we'll be talking about Cyan on the video that I have got scheduled. I've already loaded it, ready for you. That will be released on Friday. And Cyan is actually an interesting colour, I believe. It's one of my favourite colours, actually. And it links the throat chakra through to the heart chakra, and even actually down to the base chakra, which is the centre of will. Technology has continued to be an absolute debacle for me this week. There has been progress made. To say slow progress would be an absolute understatement. To say challenge of my patience, my sanity and everything else probably is an accurate description. I've got the infrastructure is half in now. The problem is now that I have to get it connected from the curbside to my door, or basically to the house. And apparently, this is creating a few problems as well. But once it is connected, I should be able to live stream. I have been told, but I've been told lots of stuff in the past, I've got to admit, and it ends up being disappointment and not due, or it doesn't arrive on the day they say that it will. I have been told that it's due for completion now on May 17th. We'll see what happens, but the idea is that if I can actually get this connected, they are saying, and I'm trying to not act sort of, what's the word, trying to act enthusiastic about what they say, because I keep seeing incongruency, shall we say. I'm trying to believe that once it's connected, that there will be a potential to do live streaming, but time will tell. Okay, we'll wait and see. And so, if you've been tearing your hair out along the journey with me, I say I'm really sorry about that, but thank you. Thanks for hanging in there. So, when it comes to the numerology, the first thing I'm going to do is actually acknowledge comments by Janice in regard to, I'm not going to say your surname, Janice, because I don't think it needs to be public, where she has seen the predictions and said she's going to test it out this month with the numerology predictions, this is, and get back to me and let me know how it's panned out. So, of course, I did say thank you, but it seems timely to remind people that actually, please do feedback. And if it doesn't work out the way that we thought it was or the way that it said in the predictions, that's actually really important as part of expanding the overall knowledge base around the numbers and predictions. We're in the 21st century now, and it's fascinating because in the 21st century, you will see this if you check out the series on the arrows, because a lot of the people that are born in the year 2000 or from 2000 to 2009, say, a lot of those people don't have a number one in their birth chart. And that's going to influence the arrows. But of course, that's on there. And the thing with these arrows is that theoretically, the way we interpret this information, generally to get a real feel for it and to get any level of accuracy, is actually through having the conversations of, well, this is what it looks like based on the numbers, and then people coming back and going, well, this is actually what it happened and what it felt like, and then it's like, then we can make sense and develop this understanding of the implications of the numbers and of the arrows. And where I'm going with this is just the reminder, first off, though, that the arrow series has 5 parts to it, but there are at least 2 arrows on the birth chart that we will never have seen before, because for the last 1,000 years, every single person has had a number 1 on their birth chart. So just absorb that for a moment, and I'll kick on with the next slide. So, update on the angel content. Well, it continues to progress. There's also a lot of angel videos to be made as well. I think I've probably got about another 40 to go. So, anyway, I am making them. It is continuing. So, update on the angel content. Well, it continues to progress. There's also a lot of angel videos to be made as well. You will have seen Israfel, of course, because he was loaded this week. And once again, that invitation goes out to you. I'm really interested in the feedback of people, if they want to add some of their own experiences and interaction and connection to angels as well. Please do watch the video, leave a comment. Thank you. So this video, I've almost completed. It's going to be fairly long. I've done the transcript, but I've still got to do the recording of it. It's one of those ones that you start and then you realize actually it's a lot more complex. There's a lot more involved than what you originally thought. So if you think about it, of course, the angel of nature is going to be quite involved. And this is because when we talk about nature, we're talking about things like the elements, the sky, the earth, the moon, the influences on waterways, the air that we breathe, of course, and even the elements of fire. There's a lot of stuff or a lot of ground to cover. Okay, literally, when we're talking about the angel of nature. And we also do, of course, talk about what the cherubim order is. So anyway, that one's coming up. Let me know what you think of the image, by the way. I like it. So, in regard to the art reels and quotes, sorry if you were hoping to see the art reels go up. No, I still haven't created another one. I've been more focused on doing the color videos and the angel type videos. And because of the technical issues, I lost about 3 days there. I think not just about access to being creative, but also 3 days of my own sanity there in regard to making videos because of the technology problems. So it's kind of put me behind a bit. But either way, I am still working on the quotes. I've been doing them and I'm also speaking them, narrating them, as opposed to using the AI. So let me know if you've got a problem with that. You might want me to continue with the AI. Just a little bit of content though about Victor Hugo. The reason why some of his quotes might be a bit curly for people is he grew up in a time, at least post-war, post-French Revolution, where obviously the royal family were executed and stuff like that. And I know from my social work studies that whenever you get a government overthrow in such a way, a big political shift like that, it's usually followed by 50 years of tyranny. So he was living in a time where there was a revolution, or if he wasn't born, I haven't checked his dates. If he wasn't born into it, he was born after it, and he lived through the consequences of the revolution, shall we say. So this is reflected in his thinking, processing, and his philosophies, if I can talk. I will, at the moment, when it comes to art, instead of doing the art reels, just add some of my latest art images up here on this weekly video until I've got something of substance to put together. But I'll let you know as soon as I've done it. So, my friends, that's it for this week. That's about all that I can add until I do some more series or whatever, and certainly until I get a bit more activity on the channel. In the meantime, I just want to say thank you very much for being part of my journey. I'm going to love you, leave you, catch you on the next video, and say have a wonderful day, wonderful week. Take care. Bye bye for now.